They say that if you stand in the middle of Kangbashi at midnight and hold your breath, you can hear the city screaming. But it's not a scream of pain. It's the scream of a ghost that was never born. My name is Omar. I've spent my life designing spaces for people to live, breathe, and thrive. But today I'm taking you to a place where the blueprints lied. We are traveling to the heart of the Chinese desert, to the ghost cities, monuments of concrete and glass that cost billions, designed for millions, but inhabited by no one. The wind howls through the skyscrapers of Ordos like a flute played by a madman. As I stepped out of my vehicle, the first thing that hit me wasn't the heat. It was the stillness. Imagine a 12-lane highway, perfectly paved, with traffic lights that turn green, yellow, and red in a rhythmic dance. Now imagine that there isn't a single car to obey them, not one. I stood in the center of the asphalt, the Omar who usually obsesses over lighting layouts, and I felt a chill. There is no foot traffic here. There are no footsteps at all. I looked up at the Ordos Museum. It's a masterpiece of parametric design, a shimmering, copper-toned blob that looks like it fell from a spaceship. In any other city, this would be surrounded by tourists and the hum of life. Here, it sits in a sea of silence. As a designer, I started dissecting the scene. The street lamps are modern, sleek, and perfectly spaced. Every night the sensors trigger, and the city glows. But who is the light for? If a city glows and there is no one there to see it, does the light even exist? This is what I call preemptive urbanism. The Chinese government didn't build this city for the people, they built it for the future. But the future forgot to show up. Why would anyone build a city for 1 million people and leave it empty? To find the answer, you have to follow the money and the madness. Ordos is a symptom of a fever. It was built during the coal boom. The local government had so much cash, they hid it in the sand. They created a Dubai of the North. But they forgot the most important element of any floor plan, the soul. I walked into an apartment complex, a forest of 30-story towers. The lobbies are finished in polished marble. The elevators are operational. I pressed 30 and rode to the top. When the doors opened, I found a hallway covered in desert dust. I peeked into one of the units. It was a shell. No furniture, no paint, just grey concrete staring back at me. This is what $1 trillion of wasted ambition looks like. It's a skeleton waiting for skin that will never grow. But here is where it gets dark. Some conspiracy theorists suggest these cities aren't failures at all. There is a theory that these cities are lifeboats. In the event of a global catastrophe, the elite have a place to go. While the rest of the world burns, the silent cities will suddenly wake up. As I stood on that 30th floor balcony, I wondered, am I standing in a graveyard or the nursery of a new, colder world? As the sun began to set, the city underwent a terrifying transformation. In Ordos, the light is a zombie. The smart grid kicked in. The bridges began to glow in neon blues and purples. It was beautiful, and it was haunting. The stadium, a massive structure shaped like a Mongolian hat, lit up with thousands of LEDs. It was professional. I walked toward the main square. Huge bronze statues of horses galloped through a plaza the size of 10 football fields. I was the only soul there. The lights reflected off my shadow, stretching it across the empty stone. If you're a developer, you see a disaster. But if you're a storyteller, you see the ultimate mystery. A city that is perfectly staged for a play that has no actors.